Welcome back to the show. Well, no matter how good an agreement is, if separated parents refuse to cooperate, everything goes to custard. Jill Darcey joins us to discuss routines for shared care. Jill, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
And I just want to remind everyone of your book, Parenting with the X Factor. And the idea is X is not the X with just the letter. It means how to parent, how to co-parent with your separated partner. This is perfect time to talk because, of course, it's school holidays.
Yes.
What is the best way to share children? And it sounds awful, doesn't it? But during the holidays.
Yeah, and look, it's such a hard time sometimes because, you know, we know kids have 12 weeks a year where they're off school. And so parents, even if you've got 4 weeks each annual leave, there's still 4 weeks that we don't have any routine there. So really the best thing is to look at what can you do together to actually help each other in terms of making sure that there is a parent there for them, and then start looking at some of the alternatives. But it's really about actually spending that time with your kids.
When you say routines, what do you mean by that?
So the routine, pretty much, this is one of the main reasons that couples go to court. It's all about the custody issues, and people want to know that they've got their kids with them for however long. And basically what we're saying is that you can spend a lot of money going to court and fighting, and you can come up with the most fantastic, what you would call fantastic routine.
Right.
But if you're not getting on with your ex, that's what your children remember. That's actually what matters to your kids. And so what we try and put forward here, and what I'm spending so much time talking about, is how do you parent with an ex so then you're getting on with them, so then the routine can follow quite naturally, instead of making the routine the biggest issue.
So let's talk about that. How do you, particularly if you've had an acrimonious split, how do you put that behind you and get on and co-parent well?
Because at the end of the day, the children are innocent. You know, your relationship split up, but your relationship with the children hasn't.
Yes.
And so it's really about making sure that you focus on the children and you focus on letting them love both parents equally, but very uniquely.
How do you split up the school holidays? What's your recommendation? Say, let's just look at the typical family. So you've got 2 kids, the average family of 2 kids and a mum and a dad. Do you split one with each mum and dad, or do you put them
Don't
one
split the kid up, okay? Because often people will try actually saying they'll split children up, and I really think that's a bizarre thing to do, because siblings together are a really good cushion and comfort. And even though I know sibling rivalry can drive us all nuts, but at the end of the day, there's something really good about the camaraderie of being together.
So don't have one child with one parent during the holidays and one with another.
No, it makes it harder for the parent as well. But maybe you could have 1 week with mum and 1 week with dad, because most of our school holidays are 2 weeks, and so that's quite a neat way. So that could really work. Grandparents are fantastic. Sometimes grandparents love having the kids away from the parents, and they can actually take them, maybe they're out of the city that you live in, and the grandparents can have a fantastic time with the grandchildren.
What's a good way to speak about your ex to your kids? Like, at what age should they understand that you don't get on anymore, or the reasons for your splitting up? Or should they never really get to know that?
Oh, I think some kids need to know the reason. I think that is part of what needs to happen at some stages, especially if there's abuse and the children have been part of that abuse. Then it's really important that the children know that the reason that relationship's no longer together is because that behaviour is not to be lived with any longer. And that's actually really okay for them to know if the kids have been part of that.
Okay.
You can still say, we love the other parent,
even though they abused us. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not so much that you need them to be given the opportunity that they can choose to forgive and love themselves. It's not saying that they will or that they want to, but you need to at least leave that window open, because if it's always toxic, it's very hard for the kids.
When, because a lot of us do have this sort of shared care arrangement, what often happens is the child is usually with one parent, except for the odd weekend. Suddenly, they're going for 3 weeks, for example, at the other parent.
Yeah.
How do you resettle them when they come home?
Take some time, even if it's only been a few days. A lot of parents will say it takes time for their kids to actually settle back in. So get a ritual going, that when they come to your place, let's say it's summer, take a walk down to the beach, get an ice cream on the way home, talk about the week or 3 weeks away, talk about the highlights, talk about the lowlights. Just treat them like a normal event that's happened in their life, and let them actually debrief a bit, and then have this ritual so when they get back home, they may need a little bit of a reminder. Hey, house rules, you know, in our house this is how we do it, and it's okay to be that blatant with them.
Unlike your dad who's really slack. No,
You know, leave that bit out.
So again, let's just talk about that. How important is it to speak kindly of the other?
It's about never making them wrong. It's not making you better.
Okay.
And so it's about removing the right and wrong and removing the better or worse. It's different, and it's appropriate or it's not appropriate.
What do you think of split up parents going away on holiday together with the children?
I know people
A lot
who
of us do.
Yeah, and I think that's great in the short term. But a longer term, what can happen is if the one parent starts with another relationship, then the children are like, oh, so you split up, mum and dad. It was actually the step parent coming in, and that's a really hard angle because often that's really hard for the step parents to then go away with this cliquey group. They find that quite awkward. So I just say to people, monitor it, see how it goes, but it wouldn't be something that I'd be doing.
It's not, you don't advocate it. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
And there's more about the Complex Family Foundation on our website.